Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be queuing up the first best of 5 of the day. Semi-final number 1, slizzle466 versus Awedragon. Awedragon will be having his mage band, and Slizzle will be having his priest band. So we will be seeing a showdown of Warlock, Druid, and Priest from Awedragon versus Slizzle's Warlock, Shaman, and Druid. Awedragon said he already went ahead and mulliganed. Looks like for game 1 as well, we're going to be having Zulok against Aggro Druid. Not a bad hand for Awedragon. The Imp is pretty good. Lofeb is not great, obviously. Just anything that's a 1-3 is actually quite good against Druids on turn 1. Okay, there we go. So I don't really see what Slizzle did as far as the mulligan goes. His hand's not looking too great, though. He has a single target buff and a Galactic Crawler. Awedragon picked up the second Imp. So one thing that Slizzle could do here is actually just not play the Corsair and go for Corsair Coin Mark of Yisraj next turn to have Patches trade into the 1-3. So just go in with Patches. We'll probably just hit face here, get the 1 damage in, and allow Awedragon to bump into the 1-1 favorably. Dr. Boom's definitely not going to help him this turn. I wouldn't be surprised to see a life tap here from Awedragon just because he really needs something to do next turn that's impactful. He's really wanting to get something like a South Sea Captain out. That's probably his dream here as far as turn 3 goes. So I really would not be too surprised just to see him hit the button. Yep, goes for the draw card. Gets Doomguard, that's perfect. Could play Imp on turn 3, potentially tap again if you don't get another 1-drop or Keleseth. Play Void Caller at 4, pull the Doomguard for free, being a good spot to win. Here for Slizzle, his turn is really awkward, honestly, because he can't actually play Galactic Crawler without eating his own Pirate, and he definitely does not want to do that. So you could go for the single target buff, Mark of Yisraj, and make his Bloodsail Corsair a 3-4 if he wants, just to bump into the 1-2, clear the Malchazar's Imp. But that's not really too great either. You could also go for Living Roots, Coin Hero Power, and double trade into Malchazar's Imp and have a big board of 1-1 minions. What that would do is allow his Savage Roar in hand right now to actually be quite good on the following turn. The question is a matter of like what's the value of having a good Savage Roar? Like how good is that for you actually? Okay, goes for the Hero Power play. Looks like he's gonna trade as well. We'll see if he coins Roots. He does. Okay, I like it. You don't necessarily have to go for Savage Roar with the large amount of 1-drops in Aggro Druid. You can actually pretty consistently say that you're gonna get one. So what you could do is just go ahead and say, hey, I want to play Galactic Crawler and like a 1-drop that I'm going to draw next turn. And that's like your line of play. Here we see Awedragon go for Bloodsail Corsair. Gonna trade Patches into most likely the Living Room, yeah. Just because in case his Bloodsail Corsair gets cleared, Galactic Crawler can sleep Slizzle's Bloodsail Corsair as well. So here we see Slizzle does pick up the 1-drop, and I assume Galactic Crawler is going to get slammed down here and eat Awedragon's Pirate. Bloodsail Corsair should be chomped up, get that 2-mana 3-4 with the Galactic Crawler, the Battle Cry off, and a Firefly on board. Is a likely play. Yep. That's juicy, man. Slizzle getting rewarded for running 2 of those in his deck. The anti-aggro tech is coming in handy. Galactic Crawler is really nice in this deck too because it actually has synergy with cards like Mark of Yisraj. And it just works really well with the deck because it's a 2-mana 2-3. It's just a minion that you like to stick buffs on. Oh, 2 bumps face, that's good. Now we see the Captain. 1 turn too late, unfortunately. The Void Caller coming down is still quite good. Again, Slizzle doesn't know it. We can tell though. Awedragon does in fact get a Doomguard when Void Caller is popped. That's pretty sweet for him. For Slizzle, he's got 4 mana crystals to work with. He probably does not want to Savage Roar, so I feel like starting with Mark of Yisraj is likely what he's going to do on the Galactic Crawler, just to draw a card here. See what he can pick up. He agrees. One thing to note here is Living Man is one of the best cards to have on turn 5 in these aggro matchups, and Druid of the Swarm is a great pickup here. Just making a 1-5 with Taunt here is beautiful because your opponent cannot pop the Void Caller and get a Demon out for free. So Awedragon's going to be in a pretty rough spot trying to deal with that. Beautiful. I love that he's trading the Imp too. It's great. And we'll likely just see Galactic Crawler smack Awedragon in the face here for 5. Yep. Okay. Crystal Weaver's not great. Yeah, I feel the Loatheb on curve. Just a 5 mana 5/5 and not allowing Slizzle to play living mana. That's not like the intended effect. The intended effect here is just Loatheb's the best player on curve, so that's why he's slamming it. But it does also mess up Slizzle's turn here. So we can tell on turn 5 what he'd like to do is trade a little bit and then actually go for living mana, but unfortunately can't do that in this case. I don't think he'll play Jeeves. The Flame Elementals will probably come down. He'll likely play Firefly, 2 Flame Elementals, and Hero Power here. Fills up the mana. He does not float anything. I don't think he may trade his Galactic Crawler into Loatheb. I feel like that's the only trade that he would make though. One of the reasons why this play is also good is because it just sets up for the Savage Roar for next turn. That's one of the things that I like about it a lot. So I think he's definitely pushing 3-face, and it looks like he's sending the Galactic Crawler face as well. I like it. You know, your opponent's at 12 health now. You have Savage Roar. You could do some math. So if 3 minions stick, let's assume all of the 1 of the 1/1s and 2 of the 1/2 stick. That's 3 damage already, and then you add 8 more. That's 11 plus the Hero Power. He just wins the game. So by Slizzle's calculations, it's quite likely that he just gets there next turn. So I feel like that's why he's comfortable just going face with the spread line. I definitely agree that I think it's great. Here we look on board. Awedragon does not have a nice clear into the Galactic Crawler at all. If he wants to be able to trade into it, what he has to do is actually just sack his Void Color off and then play probably 2 captains. It's weird because he's only clearing 2 minions this turn, even though he's getting Void Color off. I don't believe Crystal Weaver's a demon, right? No, it's not a demon. Okay, good. Yeah, so it was guaranteed Doom card. Goes for the stats with Captain, and we can see Slizzle is about to seal game 1 with that juicy Savage Roar. Hard fought game by Awedragon, but one of the issues with the Kelset decks is if you don't have 3 1-drops in your opening hand, or 2 with Firefly, is oftentimes what happens is you don't actually get to do anything on turn 2, which is quite problematic for Zulok. And one of the issues we saw this game was just the fact that he had to tap on 2, and then on turn 3 he played 2 1-drops. And that really just let Slizzle snowball this game out of control. Obviously the swing from Galactic Crawler also was insanely huge as far as the context of the game went. And you know it's pretty nuts when Slizzle doesn't even have to play Living Mana to win. Like, one of the best cards in Aggro Mirrors. So it's going to be a 1-0 lead for Slizzle here. Let me get the score up on board for you guys. I think we're going to be in for a match, so Awedragon can definitely bounce back. And we should see a hard-fought game. So Slizzle again still has the Shaman and the Warlock to win with. Looks to queue up the Warlock, and we see Awedragon now opting to play the Druid. So we're now switching sides. So Awedragon, the coin picking up Mark the Lotus is insane. You know, he might even keep Living Mana here. I'm not joking. Like, this hand looks pretty good. Because what you could do is go Firefly, coin Firefly, and then go Living Roots plus Mark of the Lotus on turn 2. And that's a huge board. You have 2 2/3s and 2 2/2s. Just for 4 mana, which is great value. You see for Slizzle, he'll probably be hard mulligan here. He's going to look for a 1-drop in Prince Kaliseth, most likely. Again, if he had something like Mal'Ganis or Doomguard, you could keep that with Void Color, but since he doesn't, it's not that great to keep. That combo is also a little bit better on the coin because you can play Void Color in turn 3 versus 4 on the play. You're playing Zulok in an aggressive matchup against Aggro Druid, you really want to have a minion on turn 1. So I assume Slizzle will be hard mulligan here. And he does. So Awedragon picks up Jeeves, and Slizzle picks up a 1-drop because of Mal'Gazor's Imp. Mal'Ganis, this is a very clunky hand for Slizzle, definitely not what he wants to see at all. Drawing most of his top end already. Turn 1. Awedragon has a ton of spread. This is just juicy. Picks up... I feel like Reinforce might be better just because he has Jeeves and a lot of spread. Life Tap's still really good. Like, I don't think there's a wrong pick here. Just a matter of which you draw into. I feel like Life Tap's safer. Much safer, sorry. But like, you see him pausing here because it's actually quite hard to evaluate on turn 1 in the game which one's better at this point. Especially with Jeeves. Goes for the tap. I think that's definitely the safer pick as well. Reinforce is nice because it's guaranteed 1/1s. Life Tap sometimes can break. But, you know, it's always nice to have. With a hand like this, it does not look like he's going to be floating mana for a while though. Probably won't tap until like turn 5 or 6. The Soulfire pickup's actually not bad. Gotta be honest. So you can Soulfire the Finley. Pick up another 1-drop if you get lucky. Hopefully discard Mal'Ganis. Bone Mirror, that's not really the one you want to see, but that's fine. And there you go. Perfect. He gets a clear board. That's a perfect succession of draws there for Slizzle. That's absolutely insane. Gets 2 1-2s on board, and we'll see if Awedragon can top deck his 1 Galactic Crawler. He does not. Kind of just like Snow Flipper Penguin Living Roots into Mark of the Lotus here. It's quite a strong board and very awkward for Slizzle to deal with on turn 3. I would be a little bit less inclined to do this if Slizzle ran Imp King Boss in his deck, but since his 3 drops are Vicious Fledgling, Darkshire Councilman, and South Sea Captain, I feel like this is a decent turn to just go in for Awedragon. Just because like Slizzle's minions are 1-2s and the trades are quite good. Picking up the Mark of the Lotus is really going to reward Awedragon for the tap there, like heavily. The Flaming pickup for Slizzle is quite nice as well. And the reason why the Mark of the Lotus pickup really rewards him is because now his minions that would be 2-2s are now 3-3s. Can actually hold it off until turn 4 and go for an even bigger board. See what he decides to do that. The Captain pickup for Slizzle is quite good as well. Patches on the other hand though, that's not that great of a pickup. Definitely not what you want to see from Awedragon's side of your hand. It's going to go wide though. Yeah, Patches and then use 1 mark and likely is going to just trade the Flame Imp off right away. He could value trade Malchazar's Imp as well, because the 2-2s are just going to trade anyways. He opts to go for that line, get a little bit more value out of his cards. I don't mind it. There's no Galactic Crawlers in Slizzle's decks, so he should be good to go. See a nice card coming out. And the Captain here is really going to put in work for Slizzle. Allows his Bloodscale Corsair to value trade twice, which is great. Does he clear the Penguin? I definitely think it's Penguin because it's only Beast, right? You can think about Galactic Crawler because then what Awedragon can do is Galactic Crawler his own Patches to buff up Galactica. But I think just removing the single target buff, card draw is way more important. So I figure like he will trade into Silver Penguin here, and most likely either face with a 3-2 or yeah, trade the other minion. Yep, that's fine. Kind of an interesting trade. I don't know if I really like the Patches trade there. Because he basically just lost health on this, right? Awedragon going for the spread plus second Lotus. The second Living Roots pickup is huge. 1 mana card that gives you 2 1-1s in this deck is absolutely insane with your AoE buffs. I feel like Voidcaller is really good here. And I think Slizzle should almost just play it. It trades into 2 minions and allows him to play both, I mean, he could even get Mal'Ganis, right? That's why it's so good here. But it allows him to play both the 5-drops in the worst case scenario. Like, worst case, he's getting a 4-drop that trades the 2 minions on Awedragon's board, then getting a 5-drop and then playing another 5-drop, which is great. Despicable Dreadlord and Doomguard are definitely going to help him get over the edge here and solidify a lead on board. The thing about it in the context of him getting Mal'Ganis too, then you can just like go for Doomguard, charge into minions. It's insane, and 9/7's great. Just great. Thinking about the Dreadlord as well, I feel like he really has to go for the Voidcaller line here though. Slizzle opts to go for Dreadlord. So I assume the hope with this is that he picks up another Dreadlord next turn, is probably what his mindset is with this. We see Awedragon just jam Jeeves as well. Just trades to in, and we'll go face. What he may also be doing is just looking for the coin flip, so it's a guaranteed Mal'Ganis into Doomguard. Or sorry, not guaranteed, but a 50-50. It's not bad. The Voidcaller Flame Imp's okay. You get to draw 1 card with Jeeves. You could also Flame Imp plus Doomguard. I'm not really sure if you want to do that though. Okay. So he just goes for Doomguard, says, hey Awedragon, you're not going to be drawing cards. I don't mind it. That's the other line to take where you just say, my opponent cannot draw. One of the things from my end for that would be that Awedragon's Druid list, it does have like more clunky cards, like Soul of Forest. So I mean the odds of him getting a full cycle are a little bit lower, just because he does have Living Mana, he's played Savage Roars. And a lot of the 2-drops are still in his deck, because what he's done at this point is just play a bunch of 1s. So I thought about that a little bit for me, but I don't mind Slizzle's line. Awedragon goes in and decides to get some stats on board, trading off the minions on board into the Doomguard just to get 2-2s. I like that a lot as well. Slizzle goes for the tap here. Likely just going to play Voidcaller and a Firefly. And just going to trade a 2-2, get it off the board right away. Awedragon picks up Firefly. We may now see the first life tap. Yeah, so turn 7 is his first one. Takes forever to do. Especially with Jeeves, right? When you have a good hand with this deck, you really don't need to use your hero power for a long time. And developing the Bloodstone Corsair as well. I don't think Awedragon will trade into the Void Caller. Actually, I mean, he could. He could pop the Echoing Oozes if he wanted to. I feel like this line is very acceptable, though. Dreadlord. That's actually pretty good here. It's really not insane, but it clears the 1 token from the Creeper if you decide to trade into it. Problem is it only triggers once. This is the whole issue with Dreadlord is a lot of minions in Aggro Druid lists have 2 health. Even the 1 health ones, after you've been using an AoE buff on them, have 2. So unless the card triggers twice, it's really not that insane. Still feel like Slizzle's turn is as simple as Dreadlord, Fledgling, probably trade the Haunted Creeper, and hope for the best. Actually gives your opponent more power though, because the Echoing Oozes do spawn 2/2 treants after they die, but they're gonna have to die at some point, right? So, you know, leave your opponent with what, 9 power on board, you're at 17. So Slizzle is not in a great spot, don't get me wrong, but he can win. He does have a Flame Elemental still in hand, so he can play that plus his second Bone Mare. He does run 2, so that could be a line of play where he could win the game. Also, forcing his opponent to trade would be pretty good as well into his board if he does do that. I assume that Awedragon is going to want to be trading into the Despicable Dreadlord at the very least, probably the Fledging as well, in the case that he doesn't pick up Savage Roar or a way to win here. Full trade plus Living Mana is going to be a pretty good play here. Yeah. Living Mana is just disgusting in aggro mirrors. This card is just you know, there's nothing like trading your full board of garbage minions and getting a new full board of garbage minions for 5 mana. It's great. Absolutely great. So Awedragon's going to be really happy with that top deck there. Okay, so he's going to maintain 3 mana crystals, so the logic with this, I assume for Awedragon, is that he can still play Savage Roar if he top decks that. And we do see the Boner Man coming down. Got Bone Horse in hand, Bone Mare. So let's leave on the tab, gonna do it. And probably we'll just play Bone Mare, say, hey, you're gonna be trading 3 of these and 1 of your Fireflies into this. Which is not bad at all. Awedragon can tap, but there's no Mark of the Lotus for him to draw, so there's nothing really insane from him yet. I wonder how he's gonna do this. Let me just... I don't feel like he's gonna trade Bone Mare. And the Void Caller gets pulled out. That's good for Slizzle. Goes ahead, plays a Hobgoblin. And goes face for 2, leaves the Bone Mare out. So Awedragon will definitely know that Slizzle did discard Bone Mare earlier on this game, so that's not something he has the option to play. Slizzle here is going to be forced to tap and look for something like Doomguard number 2. That is probably... Soulfire is fine as well. Councilman's not bad. It's definitely not the card that he wants here. But it's not the worst card because it allows him to play the Councilman, which will trade into the trains quite well. Just a 3/5 body is quite nice. And we see Savage Roar going to steal this game. From Awedragon's side is a Druid now, taking down the Zoolock. So that's going to be Awedragon and Slizzle both taking 1 win with the Druid list off the back of Savage Roar. Turns out it's a pretty good card. Yeah, Savage Roar is definitely decent. So 1-1 tied series. We definitely got to set here, guys. At least 3 more games. And we see both players. Awedragon has his Zoolock and Priest left to win with. And Slizzle has his Warlock and his Shaman to win left with. See if we get to see some Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem, into Totem Golem, into Coin 7/7. Awedragon cues up the Arena Priest against Slizzle's Warlock. Well, I like Kazakis. If I'm Awedragon, I'm probably going to keep that card. It's pretty good. You could keep Wild Pyro. It's not necessarily that great, though, just because Zoolock lists don't really have too many minions with 1 health. I think it's just patches. And if they draw Kalseth, Wild Pyro really doesn't accomplish much at all. So I feel like Slizzle might keep Void Caller, depending on how confident he has with his hand. Or his potential to draw a bigger demon. He may just do that if he's going to draw into Dreadlord, Mal'Ganis, Doomguard, one of those big boys. I don't think he's going to keep Councilman or Bromir, though. And I feel like Awedragon may keep Blood Hoarder. He's definitely keeping Kazakis, I can tell you that much. That's like baseline, that's always going to stay. Beyond that, we'll see how he decides to play this matchup, though. Kind of funny, I'm only really confident about one card out of either of these players' hands being kept. The thing about loot hoarders, it's not bad, it's just like a 2-1. Okay, so he decides to keep it. Slizzle picking up double Doomguard, that is the last thing you want to see when you're playing Warlock. An Awedragon with a nice 1-2 Kazakis Awedragon. Fortunately for Slizzle, he picked up Voidwalker off the top there, slams that down. Excavated Evil is also a great card in this matchup for Awedragon too. Councilman's not bad. Not bad at all. It's a 3-drop. Soulfire is another one of those discard cards that you just do not want to see when your hand is filled with Doomguards. I mean, you can still play it if you lose one Doomguard, you still have another one, but, you know. He's really got the cards that Slizzle wants to discard, though. He's looking to discard stuff like a Flame Elemental off the Firefly, you know, Flame Imps, Void Callers, just anything that's not a Bone Mare or Doomguard is really what he's looking to discard, because those are key cards in this matchup, beyond the Golden. Councilman number 1 is decent here. Wonderful thing about that is if he does draw Spread, it's a card that'll just snowball for him. Which is exactly what it's exactly what Slizzle wants in this case. Is just the opportunity to start edging ahead on board and develop minions that are hard to remove for Awedragon. You play 3 minions, makes your Councilman a 4-5, and then it can't be Pain or Death. That's always great. Can't be Silence though. As we see Awedragon picks that up. Think about Coin Pyro. Maybe even just like Silence right away is what he's thinking about. That's probably the decision here. Is whether Awedragon just jams the Silence into the Councilman or not. I don't think it really gets too much better outside of Void Caller, sometimes Despicable Dreadlord, sometimes Soci Captain. Void Caller and Mal'Ganis are really the big ones though. But if Slizzle's playing Mal'Ganis, I think that Awedragon would want to clear the 9-7 off the board, not just remove the effect right away. So I actually don't mind this, because it basically means that the Cleric is going to stick. Which is likely what Awedragon's looking for right now. Because he can coin Raza next turn, get another draw as well, and develop a 5-5. It's quite appealing for him. See Slizzle get the Flame Imp, that's beautiful, not floating the crystals. And he can curve it into Doomguard, and in some scenarios what will happen is the second Doomguard won't be discarded. So Doomguard and Doomguard is a very powerful line for him, and it's something that could definitely solidify or, you know, kind of seize a lead here. Soon we're going to see the bump into the 1-5 Councilman with the Cleric. No coin Raza, okay. Just going to Hero Power. So he's going to utilize the Shadow Word Pain then on the 2-5 Dark Shadow Councilman. Okay, goes for that. I don't mind it. Let's look at the draw. Remove a big boy. And now we see Keleseth. I feel like Slizzle has time to play a little bit slower. I don't mind him just jamming the Doomguard either though. Okay. So, you know, Doomguard was definitely the worst card to get discarded, Bone Mare being the second worst card to have discarded there, so at least he kept the second best card. It's definitely not great, and I don't think he's very happy about losing that. Because Doomguard and Doomguard's a very powerful line that pushes a ton of damage. Awedragon's gonna go for Kazakis, most likely go for a 5-mana potion. I don't feel like a 1-mana potion is super backable here. 4 AoE is pretty good in this matchup, and 5-5's not bad. Can go for Polymorph and just high roll the Doomguard as well. I think that 4 AoE is very strong though, and then a 5-5 Demon should be decent enough. Can go Potion of Madness. Unfortunately, that's not buffed up as it was silenced, so he'll clear the Flame Imp. Does he go oh, okay, wait. Yeah, he still went for 4 AoE instead of 5-5. Okay, good. Alright. Not bad, just removes 3 power from the board by clearing the Flame Imp. I dig it. Despicable Dreadlord's a pretty good scoop for Slizzle though. It's quite good. Wonder if he ever taps Soulfires. So what Slizzle has to do now is just, if he's going to make the trade, what he's saying is Awedragon did not get the best possible potion versus him, which is the AoE, and then, you know, gain 7 armor, res 5-5. Something along those lines. And that's just the line he's going for. And actually hedging against it a little bit with the Dreadlord, because into the AoE potion, Dreadlord is actually not dead. But I believe that Slizzle's mindset right now is like, he understands that Awedragon just went for a 5-mana Kazakis potion. Best case scenario, he gets AoE. But I think for Slizzle at this point in the game, he has to say that Awedragon just can't have AoE if he wants to win. And I definitely respect that. See Slizzle's hand forced a little bit here. He has to go for Bone Mare, which really isn't that great. And also plays in a Queen Anduin here. It's not great just because it trades into the 5/5. Okay, but we do see Slizzle does have 8 damage of reach in hand. So if Awedragon does not Hero Power his face here and opts to go ahead and develop minions, he'll actually be dead. I feel like it's a solid Raza turn though, so we should see Slizzle being a little bit off lethal here. I believe his outs are second PO. Yeah, second Power Overwhelming. He's played Doomguard. Second Bone Mare is pretty good. Honestly, this is kind of a tipping point in the game. So Bone Mare plus PO is 8 damage, so 8 plus 5 is 13. You could just say that you lose to Reno Jackson here if you're Slizzle. It's very obvious what's going to happen. But he could just Bone Mare his Bone Mare, play Power Overwhelming, hit Awedragon in the face. He's going for it. Awedragon has to get Reno Jackson here. Slizzle has it next turn with Soulfire. Shadow Reaper Anduin will save Awedragon. Give him the 5 extra armor that he'll get from that. That's going to be rough if you're Slizzle. I do like the line though. The number of outs that Awedragon had actually wasn't too low. He has cards like Priest of the Feast and the Double List as well, Spirit Lash. So I mean, you know, he probably got out of that pickle. And I mean, we saw that he did, right? But that was likely Slizzle's best line there. If he was clearing the board, he likely was not winning with the Doomsayer. Patches, so now we have 6. Slizzle can life tap now and look for PO. Malchazar's in. Just another minion to play here. I don't believe he's played Soulfire, but I actually like him holding in here just in case Malchazar is alive next turn. So he can cycle whatever he draws if he does not want it played. The Shadow Ward Horde here is going to come in handy for Awedragon. Go just Ping Face, Excavate Evil, Ping Face again. Controlling the board. We'll see what cards Slizzle draws here. Going to play the Acolyte of Pain as well. He actually discarded the first Soulfire, I believe. We were talking about that with him when he had double Doomguard, Bone Mare, and Soulfire in hand. No, he used it actually. I believe he used it this game. Where's my production to help me? Production, help me. Did he use it? I believe he did. Awedragon gonna put Slizzle at 13, it looks like. Go for the Power Word as well. Just draw an extra card, develop the 1/5. Acolyte of Pain. Draw him some more cards next turn. And we're gonna see Slizzle having to get through this turn. Does he have any way to win the game? I can tell you one thing, Excavated Evil is not that way to win the game. That's something I can guarantee. That is not a card that will win the game for Slizzle here. See the life tap, the Despicable Dreadlord. Goes to the Dreadlord. This is bad. If Slizzle's been hand tracking, he'll know that Awedragon still has coin. So the odds of Dreadlord sticking are almost 0. And here we see Awedragon gonna take game number 3 to Spawn of Shadows. That one was very close, and I really respect the play from Slizzle. Just going in with a PO Bone Mare. It's not easy to make in a lot of scenarios. It's one of those where, you know, you kind of just have to say, my opponent can't have an out here. And unfortunately for Slizzle, Awedragon did. Awedragon going in with Confuse, set up lethal without using Spawn of Shadows here. Gonna use other cards. Going in with a 4/1 Acolyte of Pain, smacking Slizzle in the face here. Double Spell Power Dragonfire. Ooh, 7 damage. Gonna take the lead, 2-1. Awedragon only needs to get one more victory here. The last game will be with his Zoolock list, so Slizzle's gonna have to beat that twice if he wants to move on to the finals. Great game 3 though. I really like the line though at the end there. That was great. Unfortunately though, was punished. I shouldn't even say punish, like that it just happens sometimes. Like, it is what it is. Hearthstone's a number game. You play to your most likely out, right? And Slizzle's most likely out based on his hand. There was just playing Bone Mare and PO and going face, putting his opponent in 2, saying, hey, you can't have Priest of the Feast and an Arena. And unfortunately he had it. Slizzle gonna go for the Warlock Mirror here. Decides to queue that up. Awedragon with the Flame Soci Captain on the play. Very good starting hand for him. Might just keep it all, to be honest, if he does. Slizzle, on the other hand, I think should probably be hard mulliganing. Nothing in the stand is looking quite appealing to me. Definitely not Patches, I can guarantee you that. Yeah, Patches is quite bad. Slizzle's going to want to be able to get Keleseth, coin that out on turn 1, and just go wide after that. One thing to know about this set, by the way, is we actually have not seen Keleseth in any of the Warlock games we've seen at all. Not a single Prince Keleseth being played. Kind of feels bad. I'm kind of sad nobody brought Tal'Daram Zoo either. I really like it because you can play Haunted Creepers, Nerubian Eggs. Just like a different build of the deck, a little bit more focused in the early game because you do have more consistent 2-drops. Whereas with Keleseth Warlock, which you see fairly often, is they just end up having to pass on turn 2. Just not that great. See Awedragon perfecting the classic Zoolock start, Flame Imp into Flame Imp plus Voidwalker. Gonna see Slizzle here probably not even gonna want to play his Malachusar's Imps, just because they don't trade at all into the Flame Imp. The 1-3 body just gets beat up by the 3-2. Does not want to get 2 for 1. At the same time though, he's not doing anything, which is terrible. It's just not the start you want at all.
Many possibilities.
He might just have to do it though. He may just have to play the Imp, and that's what he's thinking about right now. Because if he doesn't, he's just going to get hit in the face for 3 over and over again. It looks like he's going for coin tap just to pick something up for next turn that's better. I feel like he has to get exactly Keleseth this game. Awedragon with the disgusting 1-1, 1-drop into 2-1-drop into 3-drop into 4-drop curve here is going to be really tough for Slizzle to bounce back from. I mean, he's going to have to play the Malachusar's Imps now. He can't do anything else.
You are not the boss of me. You are not the boss of me.
We'll have to see Awedragon take 2 free trades into it. And go face, he might actually trade Voidwalker and Patches instead. Opposite, just trade the Flame Imps and go face for 3. Double Doomguard again for Slizzle. Having a life tap twice in a Zoolock mirror by turn 3 is not what you want. Awedragon, on the other hand, though, he's on the play. He's got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is in a good spot to move on to the finals here, pushing in for 10. Sorry, for 12 there. On turn 4. Setting Slizzle to 8 health. Slizzle finally gets a playable card on curve, Void Color. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, and it looks like Awedragon's going to take this set 3-1. See if Slizzle can disconnect Awedragon. No, you win this time. Congratulations to Awedragon. He's going to be our first finalist here in the Controls Wild Invitational. It's going to be a 3-1 lead for him. And a somewhat quick victory. That set wasn't super long, like 30 minutes long. That was good though, and I mean that's gonna be what happens when you know, Slizzle's only slower deck is banned, so he's got like 3 fast decks, and Awedragon has 2 fast decks and a slow deck. Just gonna be what happens as far as the tournament goes. It'll be played out rather quickly. So we had Awedragon taking down slizzle466 pictured here, 3-1. So Slizzle again streams Hearthstone. You guys can check him out, Wild Hearthstone, twitch.tv/slizzle466. Again, really cool guy. Recommend checking out his stream. Same with Awedragon, your finalist. Again, he got to the finals in the open tournament that I held and ended up losing to Breezy, but took him down with a swift 3-0 in the first round yesterday. Today, bounced back after the first defeat in the second semifinal round, or sorry, the first semifinal round. Goes and then gets Slizzle down 3-1. Now moving into the finals. Awedragon again does stream at twitch.tv/Awedragon_. Go hit him up there, guys. Check him out. It's a cool dude to get as well.